Okay, cool. I went to the beach this morning and I went there pretty much as soon as I woke up. I folded up the mattress that I'm sleeping on at the moment and, just got changed, washed my face, brushed my teeth. I had a black coffee, and then I picked up my camera and I left. And I'm currently filming on the DJI, and I use that pretty much for all my content. So any filming or photos that I want to be able to kind of color grade or give a certain aesthetic to, because my camera is pretty good, to be fair, but sometimes I just want a different look. Anyways, digressing already, and we are less than a minute in. The only thing I actually wanted to take a picture of was like the lifeguard hut thing that's on the beach. I don't know why, but when I woke up, I was like, okay, I really want a picture of that. So that's why I went. I ended up taking a whole lot more, as you can imagine, as usually happens when you actually go outside and you're being open to what you can see and what you can feel. Anyway, I had a really nice and I don't like using the word deep, but let's just say meaningful conversation with a friend who moved away about a year ago. And I actually feel slightly guilty about it, but also I don't, because I think we've definitely both like reconnected at a great time. But yeah, haven't really spoken to them since they moved and never made any plans to go and visit. And yeah, I don't know, that's yeah. And they reached out to me about something they were working on and wanted me to contribute something, so I have. And it's going great. I'm really excited for them to kind of put it out there a bit more and for other people to see. But we were also talking about their move, and I kind of asked them about, not really why, but how did that come across? Like, how did you decide in your head that you wanted to? And what was that process like, and what was the process like of actually going and being away from friends and family and your community that you built? And I don't know, we were just talking about uni in general, and for me it was bringing up how different my life was 2 years ago to now, and how much of it I really want to take, and the really good parts and the parts that felt good at the time but maybe weren't in the long run. And just this concept that for me it feels like uni lasted a few days. Like at the end of it, I was there for 4 years, and at the end of it there's a handful of moments that I can really recall, as in I can feel the moment that I was in. I can see the room, I can see the people, I can smell the same thing. I can really immerse myself back in that memory. And there's not a lot of them, and that's kind of crazy to think, because I was there for 4 years of my life. And then on the flip side of it is, like I said to the friend, it's been a year since I haven't spoken to you, and that just feels so strange. It feels like it was yesterday that we last saw each other. But now I'm also thinking, it's been a year, and what have I done? Like, not what have I done, but where have I gotten to? How do I really feel about where I am right now? Am I really happy? Am I really content? And if I'm not, then how do I change that, and why? So just talking about moving, and I'm not sure where I'd go yet, or if I even will go. Maybe it's just that I need to know that there's that option, and that I shouldn't limit myself, and I shouldn't try and hold myself down to any one place. Anyways, it also kind of got me thinking about those people who I just haven't had the time and energy to reach out to and to keep in touch with. Having that conversation this morning just clarified, not clarified, but yeah, clarified is like the word for clarity, right? Is it? Or is it like, okay, whatever, I don't know. Yeah, that conversation this morning gave me a lot of clarity in not why I've ended up in this moment, but how I can kind of cope with ending up in this moment and how I can deal with ending up in this moment. And it really does come down to knowing that you have a choice. And this is kind of all tied up in this project that they're working on. But recently they said to me, these are things that I know, but it's something that I'm really trying to actually live by day to day. They were saying that we're in control of our thoughts, and everything to some extent is a performance. And we're performing for ourselves and we're performing for other people. It's something that you have to let go of, and you have to realize is not worth it in the end. And if you're going to take back that control, then why not just make your reality a nice reality? I can't remember the words, the exact words they used, but it was on the lines of, if we're making up our own worlds, then why aren't we just making it nice? Why aren't we just making it exactly what we want? And, why are we giving up so much of our choice and so much of, our own control? And how does that, how does that affect us in the long run by just not putting those desires first? It's just, I don't know, it's a weird stage that I'm finding myself in. I feel so conscious of every decision that I'm making, whilst also feeling very detached from those decisions and very detached from my thoughts. I know I'm having them and I love them and I'm owning them, but it's also like, I don't want to listen to that all the time. I don't want to necessarily just take my word for it. I want to experience and I want to learn and explore what is kind of beyond this point. And I think maybe that's why I'm so choosy with my friends. It's not because I don't like you as a person. You can love someone, and again, this isn't anything new, but you can love someone and just not want them near you or not want them close to you or not need them. And I think that's another thing, is that we, especially as like modern day young adults, yeah, there is a lot wrong with the world. There's a lot wrong with our society and social media and all that, kind of toxic stuff. But we're very privileged in that sense that we do have quite a lot of control over who we're around, and that in itself is a luxury. Being able to choose to some extent, how close you are with your neighbors. Because back in the day, that just wouldn't have been allowed, low-key. We're so, I think, individualistic, generally, as like an average across the world. And maybe it's because I'm so used to like London culture-ish, and like UK culture. But we're really not that intrusive with other people's lives. Our lives don't depend on other people. Whereas maybe back in the day, okay, like this is a kind of weird random example, I don't know why it came to my head, but back in the day, let's say that, you're in a little town and you have like your baker, like the person that bakes, your shopkeeper, your postman, the mums and dads that your children go to school with. You'd probably all live like next to each other in some sort of way. And there's only one postman. Okay, now there is one postman, but there's also like Amazon, right? And you can, it's not just like everything is going to come through the mail. Like everything has their own shipping, methods now, which is crazy. So you've got that. You've got multiple shops that sell multiple things. So you don't just have like one butcher and one baker anymore. But if you did, then think about how much you'd have to just be friends with those people, because you're going to see them every day. Every time I run out of bread, I'm going to the same guy. Anytime I don't know, something is going on, like an exhibition or a town meeting, or I don't know, a pop-up, a business pop-up. These are just random things, but they'd probably all be in the same town hall, and it'd probably be the same 50 to 100 to, I don't know, 300, whatever people showing up there that day. Whereas we're just so much, like, as a society, so much larger, and we're so, like, far removed from those kind of things. I don't have to have a friendship with the person that's scanning my shops scanning my shop at Aldi or Tesco, you know? Or even worse, I could just go to self-serve. So that is a privilege in a sense that for me, I see this as a privilege, but I'm sure there's other people that will. Just being able to choose who's around you, yeah, it's great because, and I didn't really touch on this in the last video, but socially, I'd say uni has been the most draining, and yeah, it was draining, and I knew that it would be. I think I'd probably only realised when I like got there, because when I first got there, I was like, oh, so everyone just kind of like goes clubbing. And that's literally it. Like, people just go to the pub and drink. And occasionally there's something a bit more like wholesome, like we're gonna drive and get food. But, you know, apart from that, it's very like, and maybe this is just the UK, but it's very like drink focused, the socializing. And it was difficult to find people that were even remotely similar to me, even though I was in such a pool of people. Even though that's difficult to navigate, I'm lucky. I'm lucky that that's the case. I'm lucky that I can be so sacred with my energy and so precious with who gets to know me and, you know, who gets to be close to me. Especially when you're so sensitive. I'm so sensitive to people. I'm so sensitive to your thoughts. I'm so sensitive to your feelings. I'm so sensitive to your intentions. Really, I don't know the phrase, like, you can kind of see right through them. I feel like that's a little bit me with some people. It's like, girl, I just see you and I don't want it. And also, you know, people think that the same with me. Like, they look at me and they think, no, not for me. And that's fine. And thank God, because imagine if we were all just like going along with it, you know? I think I have enough on this topic, and maybe I'll come back to it. I don't know. It's been a bit all over the place. I've been a bit all over. I don't know. I just feel there's a lot of thoughts coming through. That's what it is. It's just a lot. So yeah. Okay. Bye.